Emil and Takeout, my takes on all things considerable. We do this because we can, because, it's not the world of the big media, it's the world of the small media. And we are about as micro as it gets. Welcome to my Takeout. As I said, I have not done the takeout for the last few days because I have been in pain. Yes, more pain than ordinary. How much pain, you say? Well, real pain. Some people say it's as close to pain, the pain of childbirth, that a man can experience. And I'm talking about the birthing of a gallbladder pain, the birthing of a gallbladder incident. I thought I was through with that last week after I had my, it was sort of a minor root canal. They go into a tooth and they fix a root canal, but you go to an endodontist. That's a form of pain. They told me, oh, we're just going to do a local. And they had people in the waiting room and they started doing their thing. And I started saying, and they said, no, let's give them more than that because they didn't want to freak out the people in the waiting room. But that was last week. This week, I got through my gallbladder pain, and it's really, you let 24 hours go. You go to the emergency room. They give you some pills to calm down your stomach or relax the muscles. You get over the day. And then they say, all right, you got to eat the gallbladder diet. If you don't know the gallbladder diet, the gallbladder produces bile, which is needed to break down the fats that you eat. So if you eat a lot of fatty foods, and even though I'm vegan, you might have fat in, oils that you use in cooking or salad dressing, for example, or let's see, what else is, just there's a lot of added oil in food. That's why when someone told me I should go on a complete non-fat diet, I thought, you're crazy. What am I going to eat? Well, I found out because I started eating stuff during my gallbladder diet, and I was under pain from Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Monday, and I thought, oh, and then Tuesday, I just thought, that's it. I had a performance yesterday, Wednesday. How am I going to do that? So the way I came out of the pain is went on the gallbladder diet, which is essentially eating nothing, right? You eat bananas and rice, and that's it. Bananas have no fat, rice, nothing, no added fat. It doesn't trigger the gallbladder to produce bile, so it doesn't work up your gallbladder. And everything was fine. The pain subsided ultimately when I stopped eating. I mean, initially I just couldn't eat anything. I just had water. They said, oh, you can eat maybe sourdough bread, something, but no butter, no, you eat toast with no butter. But it's a very bland diet. And the silver lining, of course, is I lost 8 pounds, which is fantastic. I love this gallbladder diet. I couldn't lose those 8 pounds if I didn't have the gallbladder diet, but I would suggest, you don't have to go on the verge of gallstones in order to go on the gallbladder diet, but just eat small amounts, and very small amounts. You know how an American portion is huge. No, no, no. Small portions. Like a cup. And then let that take you in frequent small meals. But ultimately, you eat less than you would ordinarily. Drink lots of water so you're hydrated. You're done. I mean, it's not just a gallbladder diet, it's an inflation diet. And look at what the news was today. Inflation, the prediction now is that it'll go above 4%, maybe 4.2%. This is, of course, because of Trump's war. It's Trump's war inflation. It's Trump's inflation. It's all about Trump. I'm not deranged. It's by his actions. He's deranged. I'm sane. You're sane. We're just living in this world that he creates. So the gallbladder diet was great for me, and I am now erect, standing, fully erect, because when you got the gallbladder pain, you're like hunched over all the time. You're trying to find the right fetal position that makes everything right, because everything is bad. And oh, what a miserable time! Sunday, Monday, into Tuesday, and then Tuesday I finally did the gallbladder diet for real. I mean, I did it earlier on later on Monday, but I ate too much. You can't eat too much. You can't eat anything. It's just like a little bit, a little bit. This is better. This is natural Ozempic. I'm telling you, it's natural Ozempic. So the pain subsided when I ate correctly, which is mean to eat very little. I got the gallbladder diet with the bananas and the rice. It's ridiculously cheap, even though the price of bananas has gone pretty high. You can get them on sale in some places, but they're fairly high now because we don't make bananas and all the tariffs and all that. Although I think they've gone down somewhat since the tariffs have been kind of subsided or kind of ended. I think. I don't know. Have you got a refund check yet? I haven't. So I'm feeling good after feeling absolutely terrible. I mean, there was a point where I thought I was going to die. And I said, I've got to do the podcast. No. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you know how I was doing. Better now. But I had to get better because I was doing a performance at a comedy club in the South Bay yesterday. I had to finish in the top so-and-so to move on. It's a competition. And I didn't. And looking over the tape, I did better than at least 3 of the comics. I mean, really. I mean, I'm not being biased. I did better than at least 3 people. I just think that it was it's a competition. It's a preliminary rounds. They'll get better and more professional as the competition goes on. But I did not make the cut. And that's fine. I learned something in my first competition in the stand-up, in the world of stand-up. I've done other things. I do fringe festivals and theater festivals to put my one-man show. But boy, competitions are different. It's you do your best thing, but you really understand how subjective comedy is. And so I learned something. I learned something about what I do on stage. And also I know that in competitions where they have the audience vote, well, when the audience is brought by the comedians, so if you bring more people, you do better. And I didn't bring anybody. I brought my wife. How many times can my wife vote for me? They don't disqualify her, right? Well, if it's if it's a semi-bringer show and the bringers or those you brought get to vote for you, that kind of determines what happens, right? But fortunately, in my worldwide net, my friends, my worldwide net of friends, 3 came, three, and they came because they're in the area, and I understood. I mean, if you live in Texas or in Zanzibar, I didn't expect you to come to this little tiny place in the South Bay to vote for me. But 3 friends did, and they were my OG Desi, or my Desi OG friends. They're the original Patels with all the hotels, and they were there for me, and I appreciated their friendship, their presence, and their voting for me. I'm sure they were the only ones who voted for me, aside from my wife. And my friends, Tarun and Bharat. I've known Bharat since 2010. So that's 16 years of friendship. We met at a Giants game, and I said, "Hey, you're a Patel. You know my buddy Tarun?" He said, "He's my cousin." "He's your cousin? Oh my God." Okay, so, and I've known Tarun since we were 12. We were 12. So I go way back in the Desi legacy with my OG friends from the Mission District and the South of Market. And they were just great. It was great to see Tarun last night. He was, Tarun. These guys can drink. These guys are hard drinkers. So I don't know. They probably wouldn't like the gallbladder diet. You can't really drink on the gallbladder diet. But my good friends were there. We had a good time. And so, yeah, comedy is subjective. I got some laughs, but I heard all the comedians. Oh, here's the other reason why I didn't win. I was number one. I was first. If you're in a competition and you're first, you can kiss any possibility of winning goodbye in anything, storytelling, stand-up comedy, any. If you're first, forget it. Unless you are offering people big money to vote for you or to do something good to move you on. If you're first, forget it. You know, and first to 15, forget it. They're. Of course, being last didn't help. Being right in the middle helps. I mean, really, ideally, because the audience gets tired. Oh, I want to vote for my friend anyway. Oh, I don't remember him. Anyway, I knew that when I was going first, that was it. But it was funny. It was good. I learned something. That's all. I mean, I went in with the idea that all I wanted to do was have a good time, be funny, and thank God that my gallbladder wasn't acting up. Really. Make people laugh, have fun, learn something, move on. As you notice, I don't have anything to talk about in terms or anything to push in terms of a show I'm doing that's online or a show I'm doing that is live. I went through the Fresno Rogue, the comedy and solo festivals in San Francisco. I think I went through like 12 weeks, 12 shows in 12 weeks, something like that. I mean, a ridiculous number. Well, not ridiculous, but just I was active. And then I finished it off last night. Now I have some shows in April, but I might do something at the Marsh later on this month. So stay tuned. I'll let you know if I'm doing something where you can come see me perform all or part of the show I'm doing. But it's been great to come back and just say, hey, I survived not only all the performances, but I also survived my gallbladder, and I'm here 8 pounds lighter. Yeah. All right. We got this war. And of course, I want to bring on my friend because, when I talk about serious things, I want to talk to my friend, Professor Daniel Phil Gonzalez, College of Ethnic Studies, Asian American Studies, San Francisco State University. I want to talk to him about that and also about Filipino stuff and all the other stuff in the news. So let's bring on Dan. Hi, Dan. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thank
I
you for being
am
here.
much healthier than yourself, and I feel regretful for saying that. I wish you much better health.
My
And
health is I'm fine. When you feel the gallbladder pain, you're hunched over like this all the time, and now I can stand erect, so I'm fine. I'm fine, and I just have to eat nothing. I have to, and for
how
me
long do
now,
you have to eat nothing?
for the last 3 days, I'm eating nothing.
Okay,
Yeah,
no,
so I'm I, so
and for the next 3 days or what?
oh yeah. I'm gonna This is gonna be my standard diet, my nothing diet, my gallbladder diet, where I eat nothing, but I watch hours of diners, drive-ins, and dives. That's it. And I watch hours of food porn on the Food Channel, and the how to. This is the guilty sin of the vegan, watching how to fix steak and barbecue on YouTube. I mean, there's a lot of those close-up shots,
Sure.
and then yeah, but it's it's a nice vicarious, healthy way to experience that, and I don't have to suffer the pain. So I feel good. Veganism is still good for me. My downfall, I think, was overeating. Frankly, overeating with a little bit of if you use any kind of fats in your food, any kind of oils, sometimes too much oils. You know, the gallbladder produces the bile to break it down, so the liver can do its thing. And oh man, and then you're right. About gallstones, or I don't know if I have gallstones or if I have a dysfunctional gallbladder, but it's painful
No, if
when
you
you're.
if you had gallstones, you'd know.
Oh
E-
yeah, yeah.
Even when they're small, they're significant pain, and they would have at least done a a sonogram, if not a.
Oh no, they did. They did. I think I do have gallstones. I think there's some kind of sediment, some kind of stones, and
Yeah.
and the pain subsides once you just gotta shake a little bit, and the gallstones, they the sediment goes down, and I don't know, but look, they actually did an ultrasound on me.
Oh,
I
okay.
I,
Yeah,
I
I
did.
remember that.
They did a CAT scan, so I know what a CAT scan is compared to an MRI. They didn't do an MRI, but they did an ultrasound. They said, "Oh, so you're going to tell me if it's a girl or a boy?" Yeah, and they did. They said they got the right gender of the gallstone, and we're going to have a gender reveal party. So,
well,
but yeah,
yeah. I hope
it's
you feel better, and it, you know, yeah.
yeah. Well,
You say it's the curse of the vegan, but you actually,
well,
yeah. I mean,
and more
actually,
people, meat eaters get it more. It's
yeah.
not
Of
really the
course,
curse of the vegan, but I guess it's the irony of being vegan
yeah. That's it.
and still getting getting that. And here's the thing: I've had these gallstones, a pattern of them for I would say like 10 years, but I don't think I had an attack like this for I don't know, at least 6, 7 years. This is the first time, 6, 7 years. So something happened, and I think it's more overeating than it is, um, anything else. Sometimes you like to eat, you shove food in your face, you eat, and it feels so good. And you know how the pain you have when you eat too much. You can eat to like Thanksgiving. Everyone's so like bloated and they eat so much, and then they fall asleep. I think I was getting into a pattern of just overeating, and that's why the gallbladder diet's good because I can you know restrict intake, um, a little smarter, a
You
little
dropped
better.
8 pounds in how many days?
About 3 days, 3 or 4 days.
That's too fast, dude. You got to watch out.
Is that too fast?
Yeah,
Well,
make sure you hydrate like crazy.
oh yeah, I've been hydrating, but it's better than Ozempic, really, at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, 8 pounds in 3 days is ridiculous. There's lots of people that would be willing to do that.
Well, I was in a ridiculously high level, and I'm now in my clothes. I I'm about 10 pounds less. So I say that's in my clothes. So I figure I'm probably at 8 pound loss. So that's good. I mean, but it's just from not eating, and I didn't starve myself. I was never starving. I was in pain. I was eating the pain away is what I was doing. So
Sure.
anyway, so Dan, today, I have this idea of war every day, right? Coming up, and I guess we have this is Trump doing his taco thing, setting a date. Hey, you got to do this by Monday, or we're gonna bomb your tankers. And today, Trump puts out something say on Truth Social, as per Iranian government request, because of course it can't be, because he's giving in. It's the Iranian request. Please let this statement serve to represent that I am pausing the period of energy plant destruction by 10 days to Monday, April 6th, 2026 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Talks are ongoing. Now, are talks. I send you an email and you decide whether we're negotiating. I mean, they're not really talks. He's trying to save his ass, is what he's doing. And despite erroneous statements to the contrary by the fake news media and others, I guess that means us, I don't know, they are going very well, these talks that are not talks. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump, just to remind us that that's what DJT stands for. So, anyway, what do you think? It sounds like another taco move, huh?
Well, yeah, it does. But you have to look at what possibly motivated his. I don't know if I'd call it a retreat, but
The
his
extension,
measured statement in comparison to the aggression. It's much less aggressive position.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think it's largely because from the Iranian side, you have their absolute denial that there have been any kind of negotiations going on. On the one
Mhm.
hand, that's one report. Then there's another report that Pakistan has been operating as a mediator, and that has more credibility. Then there's the other issue, as Trump himself raised, which is who do we deal with as leaders? Because we killed off at least the top two levels,
Yeah.
and we're not sure about the son, whether or not he exists. And the Israelis claim that they killed off the second and third level,
Yeah.
okay? And they have also gotten. They say they're going to prove evidence that they got the leader of the IRGC.
IRG. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, he, the war has accomplished regime change without getting the regime change exactly the way they want. They just killed all the leaders. What they did is they killed all the people who might have negotiated with them,
yeah,
and so
that's
now
correct.
it's not the devil you know; it's the devil you don't know, and who knows where we are because it was never sold to Congress. I mean, there are congressional leaders now who are more in the dark than you and me. I
Three
mean, and
and
that
four,
is sad.
three, yes, 3 and 4 meetings ago, I will remind our audience
Yeah,
that I stated it doesn't matter who the Ayatollahs are, who all of the civilians are, and the entire civilian leadership, because in the end, what matters is the IRGC, the Quds force, right, and the
yeah,
military and the police. That's what
yeah,
matters. And so you can kill off the rest of the civilian and clerical population, and those people are still going to be what matters. Now we
yeah,
have discussion about the possibility they've been mentioning for at least 2 weeks now, the possibility of card invading card, because controlling card would mean controlling Iran's ability to refine petroleum products and also to send them out, because that's
yeah.
their main production refinery.
Right. Karg Island. It is.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
And
that's the
so,
main thing.
and it's pretty far north. I mean, it's on the opposite end of the Strait of Hormuz. So, if that is possible, and if Iran believes that there is a likelihood that Trump will send troops to Karg Island, they're going to fortify it. And they're going to fortify it not only on the island, but ashore,
Oh yeah.
opposing the island as well. So if troops are sent there, it's going to be a bloodbath.
It
Both
sounds like
directions.
a suicide mission, right? They've got to have mines already, and they've got drones all set up. If they go and take, if the U.S. boots on the ground, if they send, they're sending in what 5,000 troops is the highest number I've seen, but
Yeah.
it goes up every day. A
Combination,
thousand,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
a thousand, 2,500. Now I hear as high as 5,000. But if
Right.
they go take Karg, you might take Karg, but will
Well, if they
you
take it, they have to hold
maintain?
it. If
Well,
they
that's
take it,
it.
they have to hold it. And if
Well,
they have to hold it, there's going to be continuous confrontation.
right,
It's
but if you hold it, I mean, if you take it, it's not you must hold it, but can you? Can you hold it with the five
I'm
thousand troops
saying
that we have
must.
now?
I'm saying must because that's the whole objective. If the
Yeah,
objective is to control that, then you must hold it. Okay.
yeah.
And then
Okay.
follows your question, which is can you hold it? And then the answer is how many troops does he want to send? And for how
Well,
long? And
well, yeah.
what kind of air support is it going to take? What kind of naval support is it going to take? It's going to
Five,
it's going to be bad.
yeah,
If they
five
make that move,
thousand.
it's going to be bad. It will trigger full on war.
If 5,000 is what he's sending now, and we're not in full on war, but if we're there with 5,000 and you might take Karg, or Isfahan, which is the place where they think maybe some uranium is buried. But if you take, um, you know, one of those, you got to maintain it, and then you're like you said, full on war. You're gonna keep funneling people in, and it may not be possible without. I mean, the ground troops. there with the IRGC. I mean, I've heard estimates of like hundreds of thousands of troops.
Yeah,
I mean, they've got a
the last time I looked, it was 700,000, and that's just the IRCGC.
yeah. And so if we're going to send 2,000, what does 2,000? That's like sending in ice to the airports. You know, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to
Well, it'll
scare the
get people
Iranians.
killed. It'll get people killed. That's different from ice at the airports.
Well, that's true. That's true. And that's the problem because it's probably going to get us killed.
The problem is that Trump doesn't listen to anybody, including the military.
Oh yeah,
He's been getting advice against not only the war itself and entering into this conflict, right? But he's gotten advice about how to fight it, and everybody's against it. Well, you remember he said, "Okay, we're going
yeah,
to escort ships through
yeah,
the strait." Okay, and he was getting all kinds of flack,
yeah.
from some of the sources that I got around DC and especially in the Navy, right?
Mm,
Because they would be the ones that would be doing the escorting. That's crazy. And you
yeah,
mentioned the word suicide mission. That's exactly what that would be.
yeah, yeah. I just when I hear this, I think of all the people who will be deployed, and I actually know some who will be deployed, and I, I, I hope that they get through this unscathed. But considering the odds, considering the numbers, and considering the leader of this, the commander in chief, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if people aren't just being sent out there. I mean, right now,
This is what I always feared when he was running,
yeah,
and there were a lot of veterans, from
yeah,
all of the Mideastern experiences, from Iraq, and to Afghanistan, that were for Trump,
yeah,
and no matter what I said, and even because he wasn't committing the military, but he was only saber rattling, everybody was a lot of veterans were behind him, and
oh yeah,
they were kind of excited about him acting much more aggressively about bragging about the military and doing all the rest of that stuff. He wasn't as stupid as Hegseth.
oh
Uh,
yeah, Hegseth,
Hegseth's a really, now the military people are looking at Hegseth and saying this guy's a clown.
yeah. Well,
He's like a 12-year-old playing a video game. This
yeah.
guy's an idiot.
It's amazing that he's managed to stay there that long, but he's there because Trump wants him to be. Trump must see in Hegseth the younger version of Trump, right?
Yeah, he wants him to flex.
Yeah,
He
this
wants
is
him
me.
to be in a suit jacket that is one size smaller, so it puffs
Yeah.
his chest, and it's like it's the equivalent of wearing an uptight bra,
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, what I yeah, and I think that boy, I think every time throughout this time of Trump, I've often asked you, about the Filipino supporters of Trump, and I'd always say we reach a new. I don't know if it's a zenith or a nadir. I keep asking. Is it
Yeah,
time? Is it time to come over? Is it every time we get to that
he's not
point?
gonna
Have
move.
you had it? And it never is. They're
No, he's
always
not gonna move.
and all right.
The
So
most
here's
that
a
they will do is shut the f up. That's
right.
the most that they will do. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Because they don't have to agree with them, but they don't have to speak out against them because that's Trump's magic. You speak out against him, he'll get you. So they stay quiet, sort of back
Oh,
them.
see, if you're talking about the Filipino American community or any of the Asian American communities, or for that matter, young black men and young
Yeah.
Latinos,
Yeah.
okay, they don't face black men and Latino men face much more of a possibility of being challenged if they criticize Trump than do Filipinos. So
Yeah.
Filipinos are going to be the loosest talkers. Okay, they've
Yeah.
been in the
Yeah.
past, and it disgusts me, right? But at
Mm.
the same time, I've been subjected to all kinds of criticism from the Filipino American community. Most of it is rather inane, okay, but it is based soundly on the fact that I've been critical of Trump. I've been generally critical of Republicans, and I've been
Yeah.
warning people who've been voting in that direction. They're members of the family, right, that are
Yeah.
Christian fundamentalists.
Yeah.
Uh, and some of them are Catholic fundamentalists. And people think,
Yeah.
is there such a thing as a Catholic fundamentalist?
Oh
Yes,
yeah. Yeah.
there are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And their sense of fundamentalism, they rejected, for example, Pope Francis. They thought he
Oh
was a
yeah.
liberal and politician.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really silly, right? Right
Yeah.
now, that kind of stuff. You can't. My personal behavior, I don't have time, nor do I have the necessary, I don't know, level of belligerence, to want to argue with those people.
Right.
All I can do is say, okay, I understand what your argument is. I've heard it, right? But I'm going to move on. I have to work with people that I think have a greater degree of common sense and a willingness to change direction.
Yeah. Now, look, maybe we're going to get more people who are willing to change direction. Now, this was a poll taken by Fox, and it says March 20th through 23rd. It's a Fox poll. 7% minus plus minus 7 is the margin of error. A Fox News poll. Support for current military action against Iran. 42% all voters. So that's not so great. 42%. MAGA Republicans, 90%. That's MAGA Republicans. General Republicans, 77. So the split between MAGA Republicans and regular Republicans, clearly there. And clearly there are
It's
people,
still bad though. It's still
yeah,
bad because
it,
even if you split the difference, 77% of Republicans
yeah,
is still near 80%, right?
right. All right.
So
It's
even if
still
you
like,
exclude MAGA and like a lot of the liberals and progressives are saying, look how shrunken MAGA has gotten. I don't care. I really,
it's not shrinking enough. It's
it
not
doesn't,
shrinking fast enough.
yeah. So why does that matter when in point of fact, the man acts as though MAGA is 100% of the Republican Party? I mean, it doesn't matter. So
Doesn't
why do
matter.
you keep citing those things, as though it's going to make a difference in the man's behavior?
Well, maybe,
Now, when he does something, does he get enabling encouragement from the Republican Party in general? And the answer is yes.
yeah.
You know, he
Yeah.
does. Do
They're
they
with
do
him.
anything to stop him? Well, look at the Save America Act, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is clearly it attempts to federalize voter suppression
Elections. Yeah.
in absolute terms. Okay,
Yes.
and
And
so people, the
they don't
Filipinos
have the
who
votes
supported
for it.
Trump, right, who want to
Yeah.
vote, they could be affected by that.
Yeah. But
Right?
they don't have the votes to get that through.
Well, they won't. But
Yeah.
I think there's going to be enough behavior, right?
Right.
What they count on is it doesn't matter. It's like Trump's attacks on judges and justices. Okay,
Yeah.
he says that they're going to pass legislation to make it criminal, right, for them
Right.
to make decisions.
It's just a constant
Okay,
constant battering
yeah.
ram, and then
Well,
soon the
I
steel
want
door
to
is
see
down.
that. I want to see that, and I'm sure there's going to be some red hot legislator in some red hot state, and I mean red Republican
Mm.
state,
Yeah.
right? That's going to come forward with legislation that makes Trump smile. Okay,
Yeah.
the reality is it's unreality. That's fake as hell. It won't pass, right? But that
Right.
doesn't matter. What
Right.
matters is enough people with guns will threaten justices and judges. Enough people will attack freaking voting centers. Enough people will get the names of the local voting election officials, right, and threaten them. That's
Yeah.
really what this is about.
Right. It's just that what it does is it gives green light to everyone who's for him, whether or not it's a law that's passed or not. They'll to there's some kind of action that anyone can take to get these things done, regardless of the legislature, and that's what's a shame because he's using the guise of this legislation to get this stuff through in a practical way, if not in a legal, formalistic way.
What was January 6th? Right?
Yeah.
What was that? Right?
Yeah.
It
Well,
was a
yeah.
bunch of people that had a common understanding and belief in this clown. Okay. And they acted on it. And they acted on it very violently. Right. And the only reason they got into Congress was that deadly force was not used against them. Right.
Right.
That's the reality. So my question is, what if something like that happens at the state level? What if something happens like that again, right? At the federal
Mhm.
level in the Capitol? Are they just going to let them walk in again? You know, because I sure as hell wouldn't let that happen. I would
Yeah.
return. You got to use deadly force. There has to be a
Well,
point at
yeah.
which you have to reject them, even with deadly force if necessary.
See, and that's
They
when
could
you
have at
get,
least used more non-lethal kinds of confrontation, but they weren't ready for that, and
well,
I
that's
really
when
don't understand that.
you get into that question, like the aftermath. You know, if they didn't do everything they needed, you'll have criticism. If they did, you'll have criticism. And politicians just want to play it down the middle, and no one wants to stand up for to protect the Constitution, the government, the rule of law, and so and then when you have the leader, the president pretty much saying, "Hey, he pardoned them all, right? He pardoned all of those arrested in January 6th." So afterwards, so the precedent is there that, hey, this, you're going to use deadly force in light of that. It's tough. I mean, true believers maybe, with true believers in the Constitution might be willing to say, yeah, we got to use deadly force. We got to defend.
The only way that any of this stuff is going to change is that not only did the Democrats take both houses, they also
Mhm.
win the presidency in 28.
Well,
That's
yeah,
that's the only way these things are going to change, because you have to have action by both houses that gets passed. You have to have the right kind of legislation. You have to have powerful legislation, and it has to be signed by the executive.
right.
Okay.
And here's the thing. Here's what's setting up because the real place where all this is going to be decided is at the ballot box, which is why for Trump the Save Act is everything, because then he can repress the vote and he can manipulate that. But regular voters, you and me, we go out, cast our vote on that support for current military action against Iran. Independents only 28%. So independents are, they're strongly against this, and Democrats 12%. So it's going to have to be a bipartisan thing, and people are going to have to step up and get people to go out there and vote. I want to raise this other thing that I saw the other day. Cory Booker has a new book out called Stand, and there's one quote. He says, "Embracing and extending grace to each other and to ourselves is not easy, but it is the only path to transformation and redemption for ourselves, our politics, and our country." He says, "Now is the time to meet cruelty with careless with now is not the time to meet cruelty with careless outrage. It is the time to act like what we say to each other or post on social media or say in front of our children matters, because it does." And so he's talking about going for a kind of transformative kind of politics. This is what he puts out in his book. Is it so idealistic, or how do you think people will consider Cory Booker's new book, which calls for a new way of looking at ourselves, calling for grace? He says, if he calls, talks about coalition. And he says, if everyone in your coalition agrees with you on everything, your coalition is too small. Too small to make big change and too small for what our democracy demands, which means we've got to reach out, expand, make it that big tent coalition, include Republicans, Democrats, left and right. That's how we get to that with a certain amount of grace. So that's basically a thumbnail of Cory Booker's book. Is it a message that America wants to hear right now?
It is something that I think is intended to be somewhat hopeful and uplifting. Okay. The problem is, uh, it's impractical from a personal and professional point of view, right? The lines of polarization have gotten so hardened, particularly on the right. Okay, people always blame things on the progressive left, and they say those people are too extreme, they're communists, all that kind of stuff. That's just a bunch of garbage verbiage. Okay, the reality is, yes, they want to take measures, right, that are further than acceptable by the majority of Americans, and the majority of Americans don't even understand those things. A lot of them were cultural defenses, right, to
Mhm.
attacks that were being brought from the right. So a lot of what so-called progressives have done, for example, LGBTQ issues, right? Okay,
Mhm.
are in defense of people who have been abused. Right. So the problem is, and we're talking about traditional abuse, including murder, okay,
Yeah.
against certain groups. Okay. So what happens is the right makes those people look subhuman and says that what they're doing is destroying the tradition of the American family. Okay.
Mm. Yeah.
And so when they do that, they're threatening the very fabric of America that not only brought us America, okay, but has kept us strong for 250 years. That's they're making those arguments all the time. And the,
Yeah.
the people who wave the flag and talk about their Christianity and all the rest of that, right, are those people. And they have been the aggressors. They have been the suppressors. All right. So for Booker to making statements like that, how do you deal with those aggressors and suppressors? What they're doing
Yeah.
right now with the Save America Act is we want the right people to vote. They've come right out and said it. We got to make sure that the right people vote. What
Not
does
the
that
wrong
mean?
people. Yeah, not the wrong people. I mean, the thing is, he's trying to make the opening to let's make our coalition bigger. Let's
This
let's
ain't the time. This ain't the time. This time right now is you go with people that are willing to make change. You go with people that are willing to take very tough stands to make sure that these abuses of power do not reoccur, or at least do not reoccur with the massive effect that they've had.
Well, certainly we are in an era where these changes, and I was reading something the other day where 53% of what Project 2025 had proposed or
Yeah,
had predicted,
they put it in running.
53% is up and running now. And it's going faster than in any other autocratic society that exists
Yep,
because here in America the levers have been, they know exactly what levers to pull. They know they've greased the skids. They're in the diamond lane, right? And we need people who recognize what kind of democracy we want. We don't want an autocratic one. We certainly don't want a Trumpian one. But how do we get there when, if we don't expand that coalition to find other people who believe in it? Well, we need a majority, right? We need a kind of majority that will give us the supermajority in the House, the Senate, and the presidency.
I have nothing. Look, my personal history and my
Yeah.
professional history. When I wanted to get policy changes at the university, okay,
Yeah.
and there was a period of time when the threats against the existence of ethnic studies, the whole
Yeah.
thing, the whole college of
Yeah.
ethnic studies was real. Okay, I was elected to the academic senate to try and deal with that and do defensive conduct. My attitude was defensive conduct alone wasn't enough. I'd have to have an aggressive policy of change and build a coalition. What was that? It meant getting alliances, building personal relationships, building alliances out of personal allies, also on the Senate and also in some of the other colleges that were benefiting from the changes in policies that were excluding the College of Ethnic Studies and three other colleges along with them. Okay, so this was an era of academic conservatism. right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That started right during the retreat from Vietnam, with the U.S. retreat from Southeast Asia. Okay, so 75, 76, suddenly there was this rise on a national level of conservative reaction that was the equivalent of Johnny's got a BA and he can't read. Okay,
Yeah.
people are saying, what, the people with graduate degrees can't solve problems, right? They can't solve problems, things like that. And so they started doing things around philosophy, around basic subjects, English, math, etc. Okay, and they said we have to rebuild our commitment to these things, because that's what we need. We're behind in the sciences, which wasn't true actually at the time,
Right.
but we're
So you
behind in the graduates and all that. But you know who was supplying the needed graduates and the needed professionals, especially in the science fields? It was Asians. It was
yeah.
Asian immigration that started big time after the passage of the 1965, right, Immigration
Right.
Reform Act, as it's known, right? But 1967 onward, right, 20,000 people per year plus were coming into the United States from each of the Asian nations that had previously been excluded from
Yeah.
immigration. That's who was supplying, right, the new worker trend, right, the new professionals. And it's really obvious. All you got to do is look at the
Yeah.
hospitals on both coasts
All
and in
right.
the Midwest. All you
So
have to
you
do is look at who have been at the top of their fields and
so
all
get
of the research institutions, okay,
so get
and
to
all
the
of
alliance. So how to just talk about how you built the alliance to get some change.
that. Well, it was really simple. What do we have in common?
Yeah.
What do you feel? What are your values? Do you feel what you are experiencing now is consistent with what you believe this country should be? It's a very basic approach. Okay, so is this the way you think the university should be run?
Yeah.
Is it fair? Do you see this as basic fairness? Is this a just system? Okay,
Well,
or should we really be democratic? Should people be more participative?
well,
Okay,
you know what? Well, in the current situation, there are two things that that Trump harps on now. Right people voting and trans out. Because he knows
sure.
that those poll well.
No
But
men. Well, the way they express it is no men in women's sports.
right, and before it was close the border, no criminals coming in. Like the criminals were a very small number, but no criminals coming. I mean, these were asylees, most of them in the Biden day,
Yeah, right.
and so it's going to have to
And
be
and the and many of the others, in our own communities, in the Chinese
yeah,
community, in the Filipino community, you
yeah,
know, that's a hell of a swim, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
the only way those people get here is they enter legally,
yeah. Well,
right?
but a
And then
lot,
they overstay their visas.
yeah,
The great Rodel Rodice said, look, yeah, what people are saying, the general media and all that stuff, is that these people are illegals, right? And they're undocumented. Okay, even that, the use of the term undocumented as a more PC way of describing people who have illegal status, right?
mhm.
Okay, and he said that's not true. These people are documented, and he's absolutely right.
They just they expired.
They overstayed their visas.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
So they got documentation. It's just in violation. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I just so you think it's impractical for Cory Booker right now to come out with this embracing
Well,
and
in
extending
terms of the way
grace
that
to each other. How about
I,
embracing and extending grace to each other and to ourselves is not easy, but it is the only path to transformation and redemption for ourselves, our politics, and our country. So
well,
what
see, yeah, and
he says we
I
need
have trouble
something
with that.
big.
Now. I have
We
trouble
need
with
something
that
big.
feeling. I have trouble. It's impractical as hell, because grace extended to whom? I just described who these people that have been responsible for all
Yeah.
of this suppression and aggression. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, I'm not willing to extend grace to those people unless they're willing to be open. If they're
Right.
open, then why do you need grace? All you have to do is say, look, let's talk about this in real terms.
Well, you can bring that back to the Iran war. If Trump were open, if we were honest, if he were responsible, with his power, but right now he does things on his own. He says something opposite. There's no trust. We don't know why he did what he did in Iran. We think. I mean, I guess it was Netanyahu coming to him saying, "Now we got to get the Ayatollah. We know where he is." But he never sold that idea. He never told us why we're there. So, it boils down to, there's no
What
trust.
it boils down to is you have an entire Republican Party that still enables him. They either
Yeah.
enable him by not contesting his power, okay, and his decisions. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, twice now, the Republican Party has come to an agreement on the issue of funding TSA, right? And the
Right.
Coast Guard. Okay. Twice now. And twice Trump has said no. He has said absolutely not. You gotta pass the Save America Act. And then he added all of these other things to it, and they accepted that. They added it to the Save America Act, including what you said, no men in women's sports, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Okay. So once again, the cultural ugliness, the things that the media and some political scientists have described now as the cultural element, right, of political process, of political conflict, all right, rises once again. Well, okay, that's fine. I don't care. I really don't care that they raise these things as issues because they've always had these things as issues.
Yeah.
So why are you going to be acting as though this is new? What you
Right.
should be
It's not.
focusing on is the effect of the proposed legislation. That's what
Yeah.
you need to focus on.
See, here's the thing: regular folks, people outside who aren't, they'll
You mean
read the news, they'll go about their life.
regular? They do one time.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, people who, they're not following the news, and they'll say, "Well, it should be so
And
easy
that's
just to
exactly the
fund."
problem, isn't it?
Yeah, just to fund the TSA. I mean, what's going through the TSA, and what gets me is the only reason why TSA is being asked to really
Work
take this on.
unpaid.
I mean, it's because of, look who works at TSA. Look who. I mean, in the early days of TSA at SFO, they're all Filipinos, Asians. They're blacks. They're immigrants. I mean, you look who works TSA, and you say, well, yeah, they can afford to take this on. You come down. It comes down to a class thing, where the
There
people,
you go.
yeah, the
There you
people
go.
who can ill afford it are the ones who bear the brunt,
There
and the
you go.
people who, can just say, yeah, war, I can afford this.
Well, and so
I'll
the
play.
only reason that there are more and more people now that are on the side of the TSA and upset against Congress for not passing any kind of legislation and immediately getting them paid. Why
Yeah,
are they doing that? Because they're standing in line sometimes for 5 hours.
yeah,
My favorite thing is people are screaming about it in Houston, all
oh
right,
yeah.
which is the red state, right? Okay,
Hey, I
which
lived in
had
Houston. I was a Houston
one of the
resident.
worst governors in the history of this country,
Oh
Greg
yeah,
Abbott, right?
Abby, yeah.
And so he's going to suffer the slings and arrows of really a lot of pissed off people, and
Well, this is the
rightfully
thing.
so.
This is the thing. At some point, the hostilities from TSA, the hostilities of from rising gas prices. I mean, are you at $6 yet?
I haven't checked. I haven't had to fill up, man.
I'm going to fill up
I've only
today. I'll
been
see.
driving the hybrid. I've only been driving the hybrid, and it's been nice to me because it's been running electricity most of the time.
Yeah, yeah. The hybrid has been good to me, and we're getting 58 miles a gallon, so
Hey, man,
so that's good. I
that's
mean,
why I want to update my car because the difference is now, right? I mean, our car
oh
is
yeah,
nearing 10 years old. And
yeah,
so the differences now are fantastic. Plus, you get AWD, you get all wheel drive as an option.
yeah. I don't have AWD. I just have I just have the regular. But yeah, I'm surprised. Even without trying, you get 55 to 58
Sure.
miles per gallon, and but still, like I said, I just wince when I see the prices go up, even at the cheap spots and even at the cheap areas. So, I mean, the pump prices and store prices in general, and I don't know, people with 401k seeing the biggest drop, in the market since the war began. Today, I mean, I think the war has come home. The war is here, and I, I I just am ready for people who support the war to kind of like go the other way and think, tell them, because if I mean they would be the voices to get the president to reverse. No.
Yeah, it went down a little bit actually. Premium at my gas station is now $5.36.
Oh,
That's
five
for
thirty six.
premium.
Okay.
Regular is at 5.06. The last time I was there, I paid 5.09, so it's got down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I get the cheap regular, so I don't. I just see the diesel prices going up to.
Oh man,
Yeah, the diesel prices are out of this world.
oh man, and that's our deliveries, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
used to
food
have a D.
gets to the store.
I used to have a diesel rabbit a
Oh
long
yeah, I
time
remember.
ago. They were well, they weren't a fun car. They were a slow car, but diesel driving diesel. I thought I'd get it. This is when diesel was a little less than gas,
It
and now
was.
sudden and now diesel is not. Diesel's pricier than
Well,
gas.
yeah, it's not used in volume anymore.
Yeah. Hey, so Dan, but before we get out of here, what is going to happen? I mean, I guess we get this April 10th a grace period before he decides to bomb Karg Island or maybe Isfahan, but we got boots on the ground coming. It's just a lot of anxiety, especially if you have or know someone in the military,
Well,
especially if you.
but see, look at MAGA. MAGA has got a lot of people in the military.
Oh yeah,
Okay, and the non-college voter Republican,
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people in the military. They're all for this action. Okay,
yeah,
they're all for this action, so they're willing to make the sacrifice. And as long as he follows through and his objective, right, of taking down that regime and having it replaced with something more democratic, that's the kind of thing that people have in their imagination, right?
yeah,
But is not clear. I mean, they don't even own up to regime change. They don't want.
yeah,
They don't even want to use the language, right?
yeah.
We were never. That was never the objective. I'm starting to hear people say that just the last 48 hours. That's
Well,
never been the objective. Wait a minute.
the, hey, but no one knows what the objective is, Dan. No one how no one knows.
Yeah, including the
Donald
guy with
Trump
all
doesn't
the
know.
objectives.
Hey, the war will end when he feels it in his bones. So please get this guy to an orthopedist. You know.
Excuse me.
So
That was not bad. That was not bad. Did you use that the other day?
no,
Uh,
I said,
Honeydale?
he said he'll end the war when he feels it in his bone. That's not foreign policy. That's arthritis.
That's not bad. That has, did that get giggles?
That got a few giggles. That got a few giggles.
Well,
But no, it's
yeah.
fun. It's fun to see the audience. I don't know what kind of audience I get. Like I get older people because some of these young comics they bring in their grandmas and their fathers and mothers, and it's an older crowd. And then some of the young crowd bring their younger friends, so it's mixed. It's mixed race. I find that people want to like, or they'll vote for someone who's an underdog. So if you come across as an overdog, not good. You got to be young. I need to win this competition, the big break.
No,
You
well,
know.
no. See, when you see, you got to have different. You have to have different arrows in your quiver. And
Yes, yes,
if you see a different audience like that, and there's a lot of potential bias towards youth, okay, then you got to use old, anti old people jokes. You got to start talking
yeah,
about, you don't want to glorify youth and their criticisms, but you got to
right.
show how old folks are vulnerable to the criticisms that by younger folks. And that's one of the things that I think you're going to see in reaction to Booker. You know,
Yeah.
that's that kind of a statement, that kind of a book. I'm gonna have to check it out myself now, man. I hate doing that, but I'll buy it on Kindle or something, and
Yeah.
so I'll look at it. But unfortunately, that's going to get a lot of criticism from younger folks that are wanting a
Yeah.
much more firm and aggressive position to be taken, and
Yeah.
that's
His
really what's needed. I mean, you're going to have to come after these folks.
his he
The
has a real almost churchy way, which I don't mind. I like that. It's almost a spiritual. He says, like I said, embracing and extending our. Let's see, hold on a second. I gotta embracing and extending grace to each other and to ourselves is not easy, but it is the only path to transformation and redemption for ourselves, our politics, and our country.
No,
Saying that,
it is
that
quasi religious. It is quasi
yeah,
religious, and I
yeah.
think that's great. And extending grace is wonderful. But to whom? To whom? And he's saying that as though
To your,
you can approach the oppressor. That you can
love
approach
your
the
enemy,
oppressor.
brother. Love your enemy, brother. Right?
Well, I do that. I actually
I
do
know.
that.
I mean,
And you
but
know
that,
how I demonstrate my love? I don't beat up on
yeah.
them. I don't attack them.
Well, that's it.
Okay, that's how I express my
Yeah.
love.
I see now. There.
I don't attack them. I even restrain myself from calling them stupid when they deserve to be called stupid. Right?
See now you are using that is almost like a sales thing where like that's Trump's thing. He says, "Oh, we're in negotiations," when might have been an email, it might have been an envoy sending a message. Oh, we're in He's not in negotiations, and there are no direct negotiations. And so I mean, but I see in Trump he is salesy liar. And having been in sales, I know salesy liar. I know what that's like. I know, he wants everything for him. He's selfish, everything, and it's like just the wrong way to be in a war like this. I think you got to be honest and you got to have accountability. That's why people are always calling for accountability because there is none. And it's power
Well,
without
and then why would
accountability
you expect it from him now, of all times? This is
because,
one of the most serious things that he's ever gotten us into, right?
yeah.
This is really, really, really serious, right?
Yeah,
And,
I know,
and-
and that's why the accountability we
but they're
expect it
incapable.
now.
They're incapable of being serious. You know, Bessick
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
economy. Are you kidding?
yeah.
The guy's
Hey,
coming out
look,
of left field, and then he's starting to talk about freaking foreign policy.
you
Okay,
know,
he's the
but you,
secretary of what? What is he? Okay,
hey, look,
Hegseth has got full throttle, or viciously, as
inflation.
viciously as we could attack. This guy this is the secretary of the Department of Defense, man. What are you talking about? You know,
Uh, Inflation going to four point two
no, I
percent.
can't wait. He's better than an SNL skit.
Yeah, I know.
Watching him he's wilder than an SNL skit.
It pains me. It's worse than my gallbladder pain. I mean,
Oh man.
to see that
And,
anyway. All right, so at least the problem with the war is that it's making all the normal distractions. The normal distractions aren't doing it. Like baseball's opening today. It's not really
man, don't
America's
remind me,
pastime
man.
anymore.
Don't remind me. So there was something about a zero yesterday that kind of upset me, but
Oh yeah, yeah. Wait, with the Giants, yeah.
oh yeah, had to say it. Oh
Oh
man.
yeah. Well, the thing is, they. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be that good. All my friends, my friends who showed up have season tickets to the Giants games, and I thought, oh, they'd go to that instead of come see me. But they came to see me because they knew that.
That's
Well, they
great.
knew the Giants were kind of they watched it on TV instead, and well, it was a Netflix kind of game, right? And yeah, I don't know the Giants. I'm I've seen how sports is not. It doesn't do it for me anymore. Just like in the same way that gambling used to do something for me, I used to like to gamble a little bit. Now, I mean, I'll gamble on myself. I'll gamble on me doing something, and but I'm not gonna gamble on the prediction markets. Who's gonna who,
I'm tempted. I'm tempted, but
the
I
prediction markets.
learned many lessons from playing poker back in
Oh
my
yeah,
youth.
yeah.
So
You're a poker guy.
yeah,
I I was a horse guy, but had a couple really big wins and a lot of steady losses, and so you
that's
know
that's that's the reality.
that's how you get a big spike and you think, oh, I'm king of the world. Oh, you're not so fast. And also, then the other thing is, then I met my wife, and what they do to the horses is terrible. So I no, I haven't been into the horses in about the '90s.
That's 30 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be really pouring over the racing form because I learned it from my father.
I kind of
I learned
remember that. Oh yeah,
pouring over
that's
the
where
racing form.
that's where most of us who knew anything about racing and betting at the tracks, we all learned it from the Manung generation, man.
Yeah, and
I was I was
they're
describing
good.
that to Linda. Some friends of ours. You remember Peter Baccio, the
Oh
author.
yeah, yeah. Was he a horse guy?
We double dated and went to one of the tracks in San Mateo when it was still open,
Yeah,
and
Tanforan or Bay
well,
Meadows.
not Tanforan. It was Tanforan was a fucking. Oops,
Yeah.
Tanforan closed as a racetrack, in the 50s, right? So,
Did it? No. Well, I
oh yeah,
remember Tanforan. I remember
Tanforan
my
closed.
dad. My dad used to go to Tanforan,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The first
and I
time
was
I
a
was taken, one of my uncles took me to the track was Tanforan.
Tanforan.
Anyway, so we were down there, and his wife at the time, was Native American, really well versed on horse flesh. She knew what she was doing. She would want to go down to the paddock and check them
To
out,
look.
and she was good. She was good. She called them right. I mean, she and Linda were doing well, but they were getting seconds and thirds, and they got
Yeah.
really upset because they thought they had a one with high odds, and when they went back to the mutual window, the guy said, "No, this is what we have on record. This is what you bought. This is what you voted for." And they were pissed off, but nonetheless, it was still fun. But
Yeah.
but Linda was trying to read, trying to read the track form, and and she said, "MDR, what's an MDR?" And I said, "Oh, that's a mudder. That's a horse that runs well on a wet
Oh
or
yeah,
rainy
mutter. Yeah,
track."
yeah.
And then she looked at me. She says, "How do you know that?" and I said, like I had some kind of hidden gambling addiction, right? That I wasn't telling her about. And I said, "Oh no, the Monongs, they kind of brought me to the track a couple of times, and
Hey,
you know,
hey, a mutter in the rain.
that's right,
I had little angles like a horse from from Europe coming in, running first time on soft grass on
right,
soft
right
turf,
on,
or going on from turf to dirt, things like that. But
sure,
I it was fun, but what it's the animals, what they do to the animals.
yep,
That's what got me off.
yep."
So all right, so all the distractions of the past. Now my new distraction is eating
Oh
nothing but
God,
my gallbladder
I
diet.
so
And it
feel for you, man. I really
no,
do.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, but
Thank
you
you.
can't even do vegan. I mean, what the hell is that?
No, I'm vegan. I'm vegan.
I know, but you can't, but you can't eat the stuff right now,
I
really.
can eat rice. I can eat I can eat nothing that will activate my gallbladder. So I can do small vegetables probably in a week or so. But what I respected is I've started to respect my body after being attacked by having my gallbladder react to something bad I ate, or by overeating on something that had maybe more fat. Like I can't eat a chip. I can't eat like a potato, anything fried, like a potato chip.
Sure. Too
I
much
can't
oil,
eat
yeah.
a corn chip. I can't. Oh, I love our avocados. I told you the avocados are LGBTQIA because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
hermaphrodites, and they're going at it. They're going at it, but now they've come to the end. There's two harvest seasons. We come to the end, and I've got to go avocado hunting for the ones that are way up high. And I
Uh-huh.
got this little pole that
Yeah, yeah, the big
I use.
basketball.
Yeah, but if I eat avocado, too much oil. I mean, too much
Yeah,
oil.
it is. Yeah,
It's a good fat, but too
but
much.
it's
Too
yeah,
much oil for
it's still
my
fat. Yeah,
so it's and that's bad because like I said, bumper we had about I'd say maybe 4 or 5 dozen avocados this year,
that's great.
which, which makes up for a lot of dry. I mean, if you're an avocado farmer, a gentleman avocado farmer like me, uh,
You know, we
one
should
tree.
plant. We should plant. I don't know why my dad did not plant avocado up in Fairfield because it's really perfect climate for
You should,
avocado.
yeah. You can, get those, get the seed to root and then plant it.
Oh
It's
yeah,
easier to grow. But did you know that the avocado means testicle in Aztec language?
no, had no idea.
Avocado means testicle in the Aztec language because it grows in pairs. You know.
Right, right.
And then you open up but then you find out that hey, it's ironic because the avocado is an hermaphrodite, so it's both a man and a woman, and by time, like sometimes in the AM it's man, PM is woman, and that sounds like a regular
How does it make
trans.
that adjustment? I mean, how does it? It makes a
It's
gender
called
change in midday. You know, and
it's called gender diversity, seriously, and they do it, and it's true when that's how they switch. They go by the clock. It's a weird period, if you know what I mean. It's a AM you're a woman, PM you're a man.
woo!
So anyway, avocados. I got into avocados since now I'm you know.
That kind of explains the behavior of some administrators at the university. I know.
Oh yeah, well avocado. Look, avocado is a thing. Some people believe it is a thing. I mean, it's a kind of code word for hey, you're an avocado.
I love avocados. I've always loved avocados
Yeah.
since I was a little kid.
Yeah, I did, but we never had it. My mom never prepared a guacamole sauce. She prepared it. Did your mom prepare it with milk? My
No,
mom would make guacamole, or not guacamole. She would cut up the avocado, and then put a little,
they
little
used heavy cream.
heavy cream, or oh yeah, heavy cream. Well, my mom used milk, and
Yeah, you know
sometimes
the canned
condensed
you know
milk, condensed milk.
condensed milk. Yeah.
Did you boil the condensed milk?
No, they would just mix it in, just a little bit of sugar and mash the avocados. That was the perfect merienda.
Yeah,
Was
but
that was
condensed
the
milk was that
afternoon? That was
beige.
after mass
Yeah,
and all
that
that.
beige color condensed milk that's kind of thick, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then with the Elsie the cow on it,
yeah. That's right.
right? Remember? Well,
Yeah, that's
did you
right.
know if
Borden's.
you Borden's if you boiled it, excuse me.
Whoa, bless you.
Oh, if you boiled it, it turns into a caramely brown,
It does. Yeah, you kind
and
of
that's what my
tan.
mom did.
Yeah,
So we ate that a lot. See, all the Filipinos ate the same food.
yeah.
All right.
That was a perfect Sunday after mass merienda thing. Was
Oh yeah.
avocado. It was
Hey,
really
I,
good.
I want to ask you about this. There's a new movie out. I think it's Steven Spiel DreamWorks movie. All the Filipino stars are in it. It's a cartoon about two girls. It's based in the Philippines. One wants to go to the America to study, and it's a good film, but it talks about the Filipino experience, and it has all these Filipino cultural things in it. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, and then I forgot about it. So can you give me a name?
I forget the name of it, but I think it's
Okay, I'll just look
Spielberg
it up. Spielberg.
DreamWorks Filipino. But I just wondered about that because I say, well, this is great because this is the immigrant experience, or this is the immigrant culture here, come here. But I said, what about my daughter's really high on it, and I told her, well, it doesn't do anything to the American Filipino experience, to the experience of people like you and me, guys who are not immigrants, guys who were born here. I mean, so it elevates that immigrant experience, has someone from the Philippines go to America to study, and that's great. But and I can relate to hearing about the Filipino culture that's in the screenplay. But what about the it just doesn't do anything about the American Filipino experience, the assimilated or the hybrid experience. And I think the hybrid experience gets lost.
Are you talking about, there's I'm seeing a bunch of references back to 22, 23, and 2024.
No, there's one coming out in September.
Spiel
Maybe
Code
it's
recognition, yeah, Inquire.
well. We'll talk about it again. We'll talk about it again because it's getting late and
Filipino movies to understand Filipino culture. I don't know. They mentioned the older movie, right? Was Jokoi's movie, right? Easter Sunday.
no, not that one.
Yeah,
Joe Coy's
that was old, and I didn't like it.
Easter dinner, right? Or
No, it's Easter Sunday. It said.
Easter Sunday. Yeah, Joe Coy. He's still going strong. I respect him. I like him. Uh, but I think we all have our own paths. And here's the thing about Joe Coy, right? Hybrid, uh, American, but through his mother, Filipino American father, Filipino mother, American father, and Filipino, kinda through his mother. Like I'm that way, Filipino through my mother and father, but I'm an American. So hey, we'll talk about that next time.
All right, text me when you get the title. Text me, would you?
All right, we'll do.
All
All
right.
right. So
Thank you
meantime,
very much.
distractions.
And I hope your healthy digestion, happens,
Yeah,
and that
it's
you're able
it's
to resume your healthy vegan pattern. You did
yeah.
confess to overeating, though. You got to take it easy, dude.
Well, the thing is, it's over. It's not so much vegan. Nothing vegan hurt me. It's the overeating and the fat. That's what hurt. The fat in the food, the added fat, oils, frying, processed foods. That's what hurt. And then overeating. And I think it comes from fasting because you fast, you don't eat, and then suddenly you eat, and oh my God, I can only eat 6 hours. And you're throwing that stuff in, and you eat to pain. Do not eat to pain.
Yeah,
That's my
you
lesson.
got to take it easy, man.
All right, Dan. Take
Thank you
care.
very
We'll
much for
see. We'll
having
see you
me.
again. See you again soon.
No
There he goes.
war,
There he
no
goes.
war,
There he
no
goes.
kings. No war, no kings. No
No king.
war, no
Are
kings.
you are you going to be no kinging?
Yep,
Where are you
yep.
going to be? Where are you going to be?
Downtown somewhere.
Yeah.
Downtown
I'm
somewhere.
downtown.
Yeah, I don't like Dolores Park much, but I mean, I liked it, but I don't want to be there for the No Kings thing. I'd
Yeah.
rather be downtown around Civic Center somewhere.
Yeah, downtown. I'm going to be out in the burbs, and
Yeah, well,
just
that's
to
cool.
see what's it because those are the people who aren't heard. I don't think they're heard. Although I hear in the Central Valley, the Latinos are up for grabs. They say that could
You
be
mean you mean for the vote in
yeah for the
November?
vote. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That they could they can go either way, and I didn't know it was that close. I thought it was maybe more Democrat because of the economy, but
Yeah,
uh,
I think I started about 30 years ago in my discussions with other Latino and Latina professors.
mhm.
We talked about the influence of Catholicism and
Oh
church and all that, and really that's what puts Latinos and Filipinos, almost evenly divided, and with a strong right side, a strong element of conservatism.
mhm.
So, that's where we're at. And so, yeah, it's easy for me to understand how the Central Valley would be that way. I think you're right. It shouldn't be that way, simply on a class basis. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Well, class is what makes Trump's world go round.
that's right. That's
He
right.
he he will. So
That's much of what the conservative right is all about, particularly their encouragement, right, of the nearly absolute separation between all of the other classes from the above $400,000 a year class, right? If you want to
yeah,
measure it, you can measure it in terms of how the tax structure, is weighed, and then who evades much payment at all
Oh
by being
yeah,
investors. You know,
it's all about tax avoidance, right?
that's it. And
Tax
who gets to do it?
avoidance.
Who gets to
Yeah,
do it? I bring that up in class.
tax
I talk about
avoidance.
that in my classes.
Yeah, they don't pay taxes. But anyway, all right. Look, Dan, take care.
Another time.
Have a good March. I'll talk to you again soon.
Yep.
And eat
Yep.
light.
No
Eat.
war. No war.
No war. No kings. There he goes. My friend Daniel Phil Gonzalez, College of Ethnic Studies, Asian American Studies, San Francisco State University, Professor Emeritus. We just get into it because we can. No, no, because this is the place. I mean, where can you? I mean, I was talking to my OG Desi friend Tarun yesterday. He said, I listened to you talk with that guy, that professor guy, and I like listening to you guys because you know you guys say things that you might hear on mainstream, but it's like these two Filipino guys, and it's different. It's different. It's not like two unknown white guys or maybe an occasional black guy or it's like we're regular folks, a professor and this guy I played baseball with when I was 12. I mean, so that's why I like to watch you. And I appreciated that. And then he went out and voted for me at that comedy competition. That's what a good guy he is. One of those, look, and it's a shame because he's a Patel. I honor the Patels. All my best Indian friends are Patels, but not that cash guy. Not that cash guy. So anyway, got the good Patels. I got my friends are the good Patels from Gujarat. Yeah. Hey, anyway, that's it. I mean, we've gone on. I've been talking about my gallbladder. If you joined us late, I had gallbladder pain for the last week. It did not stop me from competing last night, and I did a comedy thing. It was fun. Um, Learned something, got some laughs. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. First competition. I don't know. Competitions for the experience. Experience. It's good, but you got to be good. You got to it was a good experience. Next time I go up, I will let you know exactly when, where. Nothing to push right now, except I hope you're marching at the No Kings rally. I was gonna perform at a No Kings rally, but I decided I'd just rather go and march. Not go out and do my show or do anything. I just wanted to. I just wanted to be in solidarity with people. So I'll be out there Saturday sometime. In the meantime, find your best distractions. I don't know, maybe baseball, maybe the final, the NCAA. The March Madness. I'm not crazy about, it. But maybe there's something that to distract you from. Don't get distracted too much. Look, war is a thing. It's an evil thing, and our voices need to be out there loud, expressing our dissatisfaction with what's going on. But you got to live. So pick a nice distraction. A nice one. A nice one. I mean, comedy is a nice distraction for me sometimes. Also, meditation. So we turn to Sharon Salzberg, who gives us this loving kindness meditation. Because yes, we hate everybody, but we gotta love them too. Sometimes we gotta show we never hate. We gotta show the grace, like Cory Booker, his book called Stand, by the way. And so, as this is the meditation, and so as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. That's easy. Yeah. Tell that to your friends. Tell that to your enemies. Tell that to people you love and you hate. And maybe you can grow and expand your coalition, huh? Maybe, maybe. Emil Guillermo here. Emil, Amok to you. Till next time, Mahal Kita.